Um, so we are really looking at some of these food justice issues today. Our next guest is a person who believes that everyone deserves a chance at a good meal, and the value of providing that to other people gives human dignity and gives human worth to other people. So let's welcome Jacobs Well's own Elizabeth Vaughn. Let's see. They were supposed to applaud through that whole time.
But through the whole time.
Yeah. But there we go. See?
Nice work.
It's still
nice
not
recovery.
over. I love prompted applause. I'm going to do it for myself. Anyway, so Elizabeth, thank you for being here as well. I've heard you talk about your story a bunch of times just because it just flows out of you, and you're so excited. But you and Steve are starting a restaurant in South St. Paul.
South St. Paul. That's correct.
And I'm not even going to try. Tell us, this is not your typical restaurant, so tell us about it.
It is not your typical restaurant. So the name of the restaurant is going to be Wishful. That's with two L's, like the words wish and full strung together. We just have a heart for people in general, a heart for good food and connecting over food, but also a heart for people who kind of fall through the cracks. So I have been a chef and a GM in the business about 15 years and have been informally mentoring people in coming out of addiction recovery for about a decade. And so we're going to make that part of our formal mission. We're going to take people who fall through the cracks, people who are domestic violence victims, people coming out of addiction recovery and rough situations, and give them a second chance. Apprentice them through a program that takes them from hourly to management and gives them the opportunity to be able to provide for a family. You cannot provide for a family on $8 or $10 an hour. But the unique thing about the restaurant industry is that without a college education, if you have the skills to manage, you can get a job managing. Even here in the Twin Cities, fast food establishments are hiring around $50,000 to $55,000 a year plus benefits for a full-time manager. And you can support a family on that money. It's hard work, but you can support a family. So that's really our heart.
Yeah. So tell me some characteristics of this restaurant. It isn't your everyday restaurant that you're doing.
No, we're going to have a real fresh and local focus. We're working with a food distributor who will provide products with no artificial flavors, colors, preservatives. The food will be approachable, but maybe think kicked up a couple notches, like not just your average French toast, but your French toast that's marinated in cognac and orange zest. So a little bit of a different creative experience, one that brings the community together. Physically, it'll be a little different. We'll have a kids area with classic wood toys and a bar kind of around that kids space so that parents can kind of relax and drink their latte and connect with other parents.
Yeah, I know. I mean, for a lot of parents, taking your kids to a restaurant, one, is unaffordable, and two, is like, why did I pay a lot of money for that horrible experience I just had?
Yeah, I feel like as a mother of two small boys, sometimes I'm ready for the check before the food has hit the table. So one of the things that we've done is really resource through some mothers groups what would take the stress out of that dining experience for families with small children and bring them around the table and let them connect over food without the stress. So we're going to do things like send the kids food cut up to the table so mom and dad can enjoy it while it's hot. Have silverware and cups that make sense for small hands and don't cause disastrous spills at the table. We'll have popcorn and snacks while you wait, as well as just some fun little things. So putting ourselves in the position of and in the mindset of parents with small children, just removing the stress from that situation so that price point wise, a family can enjoy a healthy, local fresh meal that's approachable with their children without the stress, and have that be an option in the community.
You might be getting your lettuce from Mark Peter.
That would be great.
That'd be good.
He's winterizing their greenhouses, or in the process of trying to do that so that they can keep that operation going all year round. So that could be pretty cool. So Yeah, I mean, there's just so many aspects of this that are a good thing, and they're really trying to make an experience like this accessible and probably teaching, you're equipping people with job skills and conveying value that way. You're giving people some ideas and opportunities to have really healthy food, which most eating out is not. But then there's the why you're doing. I mean, this is another, like Mark, Peter, and you are not on the get-rich-quick scheme. No. And neither is everything's been taken. Where is this coming from? Why are you working so hard to do this, basically to give something away to people?
Gosh, what really matters? Not money for us. Myself and my own personal journey, I've been that person who's fallen through the cracks. I've actually been clean 15 years this year. Thank you. And I also experienced a very violently abusive relationship and had to climb my way out of that. And being a young professional woman who managed in restaurants, there just wasn't a lot of resources for me. I didn't feel understood, I didn't feel supported, I didn't know what I could do. And my income was too much as a single parent to get help, but not enough to pay for legal fees, to have a life, to pay for food sometimes. And I had to get creative. And so I know what that feels like. And I'd like to create an experience where the people who become family with us, who become part of our community, don't have to experience that same sense of hopelessness or loneliness. And I think that's really the key thing. We want to bring people together and find community.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So when you're taking you're signing on the restaurant.
Actually, we're leaving straight from here to pick up keys, to hand over the check, and to take ownership of the restaurant. And tomorrow will be our first day.
So in your Sunday papers, you got one of these little yellow cards that says Wishful. So the restaurant right now, you're taking over an existing restaurant, so you're kind of be managing their restaurant and then making the transition to Wishful, if that's how I understand it. And there's going to be ways to get involved, and so that's detailed a little bit on the back of this. So please do that. Talk to Elizabeth. You're going to see her here lots of weeks where you can learn more from her. But I mean, it's so neat, for us to see people that are part of Jacob's Well, because we try to be about things that matter, than taking that on their own and making it happen in their own lives. And so we're glad that you're going to do that.